I didn't get lucky. I didn't trade every day. I just keep buying two ETFs, VOO and QQQ, for years. And one day, I opened my account and saw 150,000. This is exactly how it happened. Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. I still remember when I checked my portfolio a few weeks ago and saw the number 150,000. No bells, no fireworks, no one cheering in the background. Just me, sitting on the chair and look at my phone, staring at the screen with this strange mix of disbelief and quiet pride. It wasn't luck, it wasn't timing of the market, it was years of showing up, buying a little bit of VOO and QQQ month after month, even when the market looked terrifying. And in this video, I want to share exactly how I got there, how I earned my first 150k. Only sold these two ETFs, not because I am a genius, but because I learned how to stay patient when everything else around me said panic. When I first started investing over 10 years ago, I will be honest, I didn't know much. I'd watch stock tips on YouTube, read articles about the next big thing, and somehow always end up buying high and selling low. It felt exhausting. Until a few years ago, I came across something so simple. It almost sounded boring. VOO and QQQ. VOO, the S&P 500 ETF, a basket of America's 500 biggest companies, and QQQ, the Nasdaq 100 ETF, mostly tech, growth, innovation. They weren't exciting like Tesla or Nvidia. They didn't promise 10x growth in a year, but they did promise something better. The ability to quietly build wealth, as long as I stay consistent. So I made a decision. No more chasing stocks, no more guessing. From that day, I started buying only VOO and QQQ, and I never stopped it. Control. I invest on a brokerage account and I keep it simple. Every month I deposit money, split between VOO and QQQ, and I buy no matter what the market is doing. It doesn't matter if prices are up, down, or the headlines are screaming recession. I buy anyway. That's my rule. Some months it hurts, especially when the market is crashing, and my balance looks smaller than the month before. But I remind myself, I'm not here for this month. I'm here for the next 10 years. That's how I treat every deposit, like a tiny seed I plant today, so that one day I can sit under the shade of a forest I built. When I first started, it honestly felt like nothing was happening. I'd buy VOO, buy QQQ, watch the charts move up and down, and after a year, maybe I was 1,000, it didn't feel like progress. And that's the hardest part, because most people give up right here. They think, this is working, it's too slow. But that's the trick about long-term investing. It's boring before it gets beautiful. For a long time, it feels like you are just treading water. You are contributing money, but your portfolio barely moves. And then, almost quietly, something changes. Your bets grow, your dividends start reinvesting, you hit your first 50k, then 80k. And suddenly, the compounding you used to hear about starts to show up in your real life. I used to check my account every day. It was like an obsession. If the market went up, I feel great. If it dropped, my mood dropped too. But somewhere along the way, I realized that wasn't investing, that was reacting. So I stopped watching daily movement. Now I only check my portfolio once a month, on the day I deposit and buy more shares. That single change did more for my mental health than any market gain ever could. Because when you stop staring at the short term, you finally start to see a long term. People often ask me, why only VOO and QQQ? Don't you want to diversify more? And I get it, diversification is important. But for me, these two are diversified enough. VOO gets me exposed to the board of US economy. Banks, healthcare, manufacturing, energy, all the big steady names. And QQQ gives me innovation. Companies building in the future, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, together they balance each other out. One's steady, one's fast, one gives me stability. One gives me stability and other gives me growth. They are like two engines on the same plane. When one slows down, the other keeps me moving. And over time, that balance carried me to my first 150K. Let's be real. This journey wasn't smooth. There were times I questioned everything. When the market crashes, when my portfolio dropped by $20,000 or $30,000, it felt like all my efforts was gone overnight. And every time that happened, my brain said, maybe this time is different. Maybe you should sell. But every time I didn't sell, every time I held, the market eventually come back. That's when I truly learned what people mean when they say time in the market beats time in the market. Because every recovery feels like the proof that patience pays. I didn't have to predict the next boom, I just have to survive the next dip. There's a myth that to make big money, you have to take big risks. But my experience was the opposite. I didn't chase meme stock or crypto hype. I didn't buy 10 new companies every month. I did something boring and boring worse. The truth is, you don't need to be exciting to be effective. You just need to be consistent. My portfolio grew not because I was smart, but because I was patient. And that's something anyone can do. No special skill required. The day I crossed 150K, it didn't feel like a lottery win. It felt like quiet validation. I remember thinking, so this is what consistency looks like. Every deposit, every moment I resist to urge to sell, every bowling month I keep buying. All of that led here. And that's where I clicked for me. Wealth doesn't show up suddenly, it builds quietly, underneath your daily life, until one day you finally notice how far you have come. Here are 4 lessons I learned. Lesson 1, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. There were months I couldn't invest much. Some months I skipped entirely. But I always come back. Consistency beats intensity. Lesson 2, ignore the noises. The market always has something scary to say, but I have learned to separate information from emotion. If I had sold every time the news sounded bad, I'd probably still be stuck at 20K. Lesson 3, simplicity scales. The more I simplified, fewer ETFs, fewer decisions, the easier it became to stay disciplined. VOO and QQQ were enough. They gave me all the exposure I needed without overwhelming me. Lesson 4, patience compounds faster than money. Every time I waited for a downturn, every time I didn't react, I gained something more valuable than profit. I gained peace. The peace is the lesson I could hold through the next dip and the next one after that. Once you hit around 100K, something changes. Your money starts growing faster than your contributions. You realize you're not the only one doing the work anymore. Your money is now working with you. That's when I start seeing my account grow by thousands in a single month. Not because I invested more, but because compounding finally kicks in. It's like pushing a snowball up a hill for years and suddenly it starts rolling on its own. That's the moment when long-term investing feels real. People often ask me about my ratio or how to balance VOO and QQQ. I don't follow the perfect formula. Sometimes it's 60% VOO, 40% QQQ. Other times it's closer half and half. If I want a little sure stability, I lean into VOO. If I feel comfortable with more growth, I add QQQ. But I never go all in or all out. I treat it like parents. I treat it like partners, each one playing its role. And the flexible balance helps me stay calm through every market cycle. Now I have reached 150K. It's easy to look back and think, wow, that wasn't so bad. But when you're in it, it feels endless. That's why I try to remind myself and anyone watching this, don't judge your progress too early. You're not behind, you're just in the middle of your journey. The results won't show up quickly, but they do show up if you keep going. So, what's the next for me? Nothing dramatic. I'm doing exactly what I've been doing all along. Keep investing, keep holding, keep showing up. I don't plan to sell my VOO or QQQ anytime soon, but now I understand. This isn't about hitting a number, it's about building a system that works for life. 150K was a milestone, but it's not the finish line. It's just the beginning of the real compounding. If you're watching this and wondering, can I really do it too? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. You don't need a finance degree. You don't need to time the market. You just need time in the market. Keep your plan simple. Stay consistent, buy, hold, repeat, because one day you will open your brokerage app and see a number that once felt impossible. And when that day comes, you will realize it wasn't about predicting the future, it was about believing your own patience. So that's how I earned my first 150K on this VOO and QQQ. No trading, no gambling, no get rich quick, just steady investing month after month. If you're on this journey too, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below, tell me where you are right now and what your biggest challenge has been. And if you found this useful, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because next time I will show you how I plan to make my first 150K, start earning even more. Thanks for watching, and remember, the market rewards those who stay. I'm Austin, and see you next time.